So if somebody were to ask me today if I made the right decision, I would say what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new here. Hey, hello, my name is Angela and I make videos about law school, lawyer life, and all things in between. You guys, it is February and we are rolling out our Big Law versus in-house series. So if you are not new here, you guys know I spent majority of my career up until this point working in private practice at large law firms. And about a little over a year ago, I quit Big Law and I went into working for a corporation as an in-house attorney. So it's been a little over a year, and I promised you guys that like once I kind of got into the thick of it, I would come back and let you guys know my thoughts on the differences, similarities, and just overall how it's been working for me. So this is going to be a 4-part series on Big Law versus in-house, my perspective. So today's video, it's just going to be a 1-year update. It's 1 year later, so we're going to be doing my 1-year update, and the remainder of the series will cover similarities, differences, and things you should consider before you switch from Big Law to in-house. Okay, so let's get into the 1-year update. So it has been, well, it's been a little bit over a year since I transitioned from my law firm position into an in-house role. And so I'm here to kind of tell you where things are. So I thought the best way to approach this video would be to kind of revisit the old video when I was kind of letting you guys know the reasons why I quit Big Law and transitioned into an in-house role. So I figured I could just address each reason and let you guys know my thoughts on those reasons here now a year later. So let's get into it. So the first reason that I gave you guys was that I did not want to pursue partner track, and that still rings true, you guys. I totally think that my mindset then and my mindset today about being a partner in a law firm is the same. So that has not changed. My reasoning has not changed. And looking back, I made the right decision. And so I don't think I shared this in the last video, but one of my mentors actually tried to talk me out of leaving until after I made partner. And they just were kind of letting me know I'm so close. I, have a good position within the firm. And they also mentioned, you are a Black woman. There are not a lot of Black women partners out there. You actually have the ability to make partner. And so why would you want to walk away from that before hitting that milestone? And when he told me that, I thought about that a lot, right? It would be nice to tout that on my resume, but I wouldn't be touting that on my resume because it's something that I actually wanted to achieve. I would have done it because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do, or would have felt like that's what other people thought I should do. And I just don't feel that burden. I didn't feel that weight of doing what others thought I should be doing. And I definitely don't feel the weight of doing something just so I can join the "there's not many of us" club. My goal throughout my entire career has been to work hard, do something that I love, and kind of stick to the things that are important to me. And so partner track would not have been for me for so many reasons, as I mentioned in that video, but probably the main thing is just becoming a partner within a law firm just adds on another level of responsibility and time commitment that I wasn't prepared to make. Especially now that I'm a mother. So yeah, so between now and then, if you guys are new here, I had a baby after leaving Big Law. So yeah, being a partner and a new mom, I don't think that would have worked out well for me, just because my son is my priority over work. And I'm just not sure, as a young partner with my type A want to do good personality, I just don't know how I would have balanced that and been mentally okay. And so the next reason I gave for leaving Big Law and going in-house is that I wanted to be a part of the day-to-day business operations of like my clients. And so just a refresher, I was an M&A lawyer in private practice, and so I would help people buy and sell their businesses. I would help due diligence on their businesses and get to know a little bit about the business in order to help them sell their business or buy another business. But I was never in the weeds. You guys are called in as a specialist basically in private practice. You're not there from the day one conversations, and you're not there when it comes to strategy for operations. You're there more for strategies for transactions as an M&A lawyer. I wanted to have more input and interaction with the business people and the operations team with my client. And so I thought I could get that in-house. And you guys, a year later, it's exactly what I was looking for. And in-house, people rely on the lawyers quite a bit, and they do value our opinion. Now, I will say that sometimes lawyers can be looked at as like deal killers because we kind of all point out the nuances and, you know, the caveats and all the pros and the cons and things like that. But I have found that our business partners do value our opinion, and they do get us involved in the early stages, much earlier than you would in private practice. So that has been amazing for me, and it has really helped me really understand how my clients' businesses work. And for those of you who are kind of not familiar with how clients work in-house, my clients are the business people within the corporation I work for. And so that was one of the reasons why I went in-house, and I have found that I'm getting the experience that I was looking for. So yeah, y'all, that has actually been really good because that was the type of experience and exposure that I was looking to get in my like day-to-day career. Okay, so the next reason why I went in-house was I wanted a better work-life balance. You know, if you're not new here, you guys have seen some of my day in the life of a lawyer vlogs when I was in private practice, where I was working all times of the night, working weekends. You know, it was just unpredictable. Like I wasn't doing that every day, all day, every day, but it was very unpredictable and, you know, a little stressful. Actually, let me keep it real, a lot stressful. It helped that I liked my job and I liked the people that I work with, but I was looking for more of a balance. And you guys, I have to say, that has rang true times 1,000. Times 1,000. Like I mentioned, I did have a baby boy, so I am a new mom. I think about this quite often. Like I can't imagine being a new mom and working in the capacity that I did before. And again, it's not necessarily about the hours, it's just more about the unpredictability. And the unpredictability of my law firm job versus the unpredictability of my baby, they would absolutely have clashed. Like you would have to have, you know, maybe just even with support, right? Because I had good support and we have means, right? For the type of mom that I want to be, I just don't know how that would have worked. Like I don't know. I know people do it. I've seen people do it. I'm just not sure how that would have worked out for me. And so that has rang true. And aside from being a mom, just life, you guys, I used to get the Sunday scaries every single Sunday, like for the work week, like around like when 3 o'clock hits and you know the weekend is over. And this would be a Sunday if I wasn't working, I would get the Sunday scaries. You guys, I have not got the Sunday scaries yet, and it's been over a year in this job. And if you don't know what Sunday scaries are, they're just like when you kind of think it's like mid Sunday afternoon when you know you have work the next day, and then you start to panic and think about all the things you have to get done, and you just, you know, you get scared or you get nervous, you get anxious. Haven't gotten the Sunday scaries. You guys, December, this is the first December in like 7 years that I really got to enjoy. And you guys, I took advantage of it. I decorated my house for Christmas. We threw a Christmas party. Like we just did so much. And the reason why I point out December is because I was an M&A lawyer, and so December is like one of the busiest months of the year for us because everybody went to close their transactions by year end. And so I never had to enjoy November, December. Like it was always, you know, crazy. And so this was like the first December in a while that I wasn't like super stressed out or just super busy every single day. And so that was nice. Lastly, vacations, you guys, they're actual vacations. I mentioned this several times on my videos, is that like when you work in private practice, especially as a transactional lawyer, I think it might be maybe sometimes a little bit different for litigators because their schedule works, you know, in line with court, and court is closed on holidays, and, you know, they're open during business hours. But as an M&A lawyer, deal comes in, we rush to close the deal, and it's like go mode, right? And so you're always just busy, busy, busy. Deal can start, stop whenever, you know. And there's just these deadlines that we're always trying to push to close the deal. So I can always anticipate when a deal will come in. So I could schedule a vacation for March and have had that vacation on my calendar for months. But if a deal comes in and I'm on that deal, I'm gonna expect it to be available. Now I can have people on my team, you know, to try to cover me, but I've never had a vacation that I didn't work on, at least in some capacity. And I haven't taken any major vacations in my current role, just because I was on maternity leave for a few months, but I've taken some days off and no issues. Like, good coverage, no one's bothering you. Nights and weekends, you know, have been just night and day from my previous role. So I will say that one was a major, it was like a flip of a switch. The next reason that I quit was because I said I felt content with what I had learned, and I thought that I could add value in pretty much any role that I took on based on the experiences and the knowledge and the training that I had gotten in my law firm role. And I find that to be mostly true. One thing about a new role, especially when you pivot, because I pivoted, I'm not doing M&A anymore. I'm doing transactional work, but I'm in more of like an asset management space. They're very different. And so there's been a big learning curve for me. However, the underlying substantive knowledge that you learn as a lawyer, as a transactional lawyer, that's going to transform into so many things. And so that has been super, super helpful. And so I've been able to, you know, make my way through my new role and do just fine. Actually, I think I've been doing really good. What I will say is I maybe thought that it would be a little bit easier, and I didn't really take into account the learning curve. But one thing that has been true with that is just the non-substantive part about it. Like, not necessarily the knowledge, but the going through the motions of what happens and how you feel when you're asked a question that you don't know, or when you have an assignment or a matter that you're working on and you're not 100% sure, you know what, and you need to do research. Like, all of those kind of exercises, for lack of a better word, I have experienced already in big law. Because you go into big law, you go, and this is going to be any kind of law job, but you go into your role and you don't know anything. When I went into M&A, I didn't know anything. I had to learn it all. I had to get exposure. People would ask me to do things that I didn't know anything about, and I had to research and figure it out and talk to people. So I've done this already. So I will say my previous role prepared me to be comfortable with not knowing things and having to figure it out and still be confident. So I will say it maybe didn't translate 100% how I thought it would, but it definitely has worked out. So those are really the 4 main reasons that I left the law firm and went in-house. I will say, for the most part, pretty much what I expected, or my reasons for leaving for like something different, for what I wanted, have turned out to be true. Now, that's not to say that I don't miss certain things about private practice, and we'll get into those things in later videos. But I will say that overall, this was the best decision for me in my life and where my life is going. So if somebody were to ask me today if I made the right decision, I will say absolutely 100%. If you were to ask me if I miss big law, I would say I don't miss it enough to go back, but there are things that I do miss about big law. And I think that has a lot to do with the firm that I came from. I really like my firm. I worked with some great people. I think it also has to do with the work that I did. I really, really did enjoy M&A work. I really, really did. And then I think another reason is because I had more of a hybrid situation where I had flexibility to work from home, and I absolutely did work from home, but I also could go in office and like see people and interact with people. And the home base for my law firm was here where I lived. And so those things were some perks. I know some people are like, I quit big law, I'm never looking back, I hated it. That wasn't my experience. I did not hate it when I was in it. It just didn't align with where I knew my life was going. So honestly, I will say everything worked out. I'm glad I stayed for as long as I did. I don't think I should have left any earlier. I left at the perfect time. It worked out that like I got pregnant, you know, kind of around the time that I was interviewing. When I was interviewing, I didn't know I was pregnant, but I was somewhere in there getting pregnant, and it's worked out perfectly for my newest and most important role, which is being a mom. So overall, you guys, 1 year later, I am doing good. I'm thriving. I'm learning so much more and more every day. And I am using all of the tools that I've learned in my previous role to try and just be the best and do the best that I can in my new role. But ultimately, it was a great decision. I have nothing but great things to say about in-house and the company that I work for. And so yeah, it worked out, you guys. So for those of you who are wondering how things are going great. So with that, make sure you stay tuned for the remainder of the series. We're going to be kind of getting in the nitty gritty a little bit more about the similarities, differences, and things to consider before you go in-house. Okay, so with that, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss. Leave your comments down below. Say, hey. Join our Facebook group, The Aspiring Lawyers. Also, if you want to book a consultation with me, I will leave the link to that down below. We can talk about your legal journey. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.